meant anything goes. Anyone could die, anyone could fall in love, anyone could die, anyone could fall in love, anyone could die, anyone could die.
Age of Apocalypse.
Concept was so cool.
Age of Apocalypse.
Concept was so cool.
People couldn't believe it. They had to believe it. People couldn't believe it. They had to believe it.
Everything that you hit on the known level. Out the window. Everything that you hit on the known level. Out the window. Everything that you hit on the known level. Out the window.
I'm Jeremy Greer.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, the podcast where Gary and I are finishing Age of Apocalypse. We're almost there.
Just so you know, we're finishing.
We're finishing each other off.
As we speak. It's called teledildonics.
Ooh.
It was invented by Scott Albert.
Every time Gary says dildo,
Adams.
he hits the 100% button, and I get a thrill.
Yeah. It's podcasting dildo percent. And we're getting the speed run for it. So
yeah, it's a new category. We have not been accepted yet, but check us out on SGDQ coming soon.
yeah, we'll be streaming at the same time on our own channel. We're calling ourselves part of SGDQ.
Yeah. Summer games, dill done quick.
Yeah, Summer Games dildo quick.
This is the podcast where we take a really mature look at all of the characters of the X-Men universe.
Speaking of two men who have never seen a dildo,
Mm.
it's the Summers Brothers, baby.
Yeah, I like this cover a whole lot.
This is great.
Yeah, this angle is interesting. I like the inking on all of this. Like, it just looks kind of cool, and it's obviously the Summer Brothers kind of squaring off with each other. And it's indicative of what's going to happen in the issue, which is always a positive.
Yeah, I like this cover. I like this issue. This is a silly thing. Like, you know how this is a safe space to admit dumb teenager thoughts when like you just think something's cool.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I have always liked Havoc's power signature. Like the way they visualize his power, I've always thought was like the coolest shit.
The rings?
Even when he had that dumbass costume that's like the black suit with the weird headdress.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, I still think it's like the coolest looking thing.
Do you think Xavier made him wear that because it kind of looks like Lalandra's headdress? Like, come here, boy. I haven't seen my space girlfriend in 2 weeks.
I think Havoc came along before Lalandra, so maybe the Shi'ar Empire based it on Havoc's headdress.
Deep lore. Yeah, Havoc is their Jesus figure.
Yeah, yeah, how pathetic. It can only be worse if it was Richter. Like, there's, so we're dealing with the end of this. This is the comic that deals with, it's like the inside. It's Sinister's like prison guards, basically.
Yes.
In the last couple issues, Jean Grey has shown up, leaving from the Wolverine comic to join Cyclops, and they're trying to do a prison break. Havoc has been promoted and commanded to kill everyone. We no longer need the prisons. The actual final, battle of the fittest is coming. It is time to just kill all these poor people. We're going to deal with Cyclops and Jean Grey trying to stop it.
Yes. So we start out with Havoc, recently promoted, as you mentioned, and he's telling his folks to kill them all. His folks at this point are Dark Beast, who has super wide shoulders and a skinny bitty waist. The Bedlam brothers, who
puts it in your face, you get sprung.
Yeah. Is there a WAP joke? Can we do those on this podcast?
Probably. Me and Cole had it out about WAP, but he'd never seen the video. He's like, I just listened to the song. I'm like, what? What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Go to the
so when you say
pussy factory they go to,
when you say had it out, like, was there like a vigorous debate, or did you guys just whip them out? Like, what was the it and what was the out? Is what I'm asking.
We talked about it on a podcast.
Oh, okay.
We made dumb white dude jokes about the person of color pussy empowerment video. So
Autumn had listened to the song but had not seen the video, and we when I was streaming this weekend, we were doing some Resident Evil streaming, me and Chris, and we started talking about Leon having a WAP, which was a lot of fun. But when I mentioned that to her, she hadn't seen the video, so I put on the video, and she's like, it sounds so much grosser that the video says wet and gushy instead of just wet ass pussy. Like somehow it's even worse with the edit, and I don't know how they accomplished that.
Yeah. I thought at some point during the edit, they're saying wet ass pushy.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, a pushy? And then I was thinking, like, can I incorporate calling vaginas pushies like in here into my life, and decide not to.
What if it was like an anime thing and it was like a wet ass plushie?
Oh,
it's a wet ass plushie
far,
of 2B.
Yeah, this is a wet ass pillow. Sold dry, rode hard and put away wet.
Paid my college for a chance at my wet ass Furby.
Like uncut gems. Like
yeah.
KG, it's a wet ass Furby. KG,
come here,
KG, wet ass Furby. KG.
I just watched that movie for the first time, and Autumn was gone, and when Autumn is gone is usually when I'm like, go through the A24 catalog that I have not experienced yet. So she was gone. I'm like, I'm gonna watch something kind of weird, and I hadn't seen that, and it was on Netflix. So I was like, sure, let's do it. Even though I heard it was an anxiety nightmare, and it is. Like I don't.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
2-hour panic attack.
But like Jesus Christ, people just yell at each other for like an hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love that movie, but it is really it's really tense. Yeah, what a good movie. Moving on to more people who have never seen it. Out of all the people on the screen, 2 of these people have seen a dildo.
How many have seen a WAP though?
Yeah, 2. So we got Dark Beast, as we mentioned.
Yes.
We got the Bedlam brothers, and then the Guthrie twins.
Yes.
And kind of the point of the scene is like Havoc cannot keep them. People stayed together out of respect for Cyclops. Havoc cannot hold his team together.
Yeah.
Like the Guthries and the Bedlam brothers are feuding, and Havoc basically just has to tell him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Because the Bedlam brothers are like, do we really got to kill everybody? Like this seems.
Yeah, this is beneath us.
Yeah, this seems like beneath us, and also like really wrong. So like maybe we shouldn't be doing this. And of course the Guthrie twins are like, no, we're full 100% apocalypse.
Yeah,
I do love that Alex is just shouting, "I want no dissension in my ranks." I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. That's just it's nice to want things.
Mm-hmm.
Infinite comes up and says that the Cyclops is on the loose, and Havoc kills him.
Yeah.
Out of frustration, and everybody's taken aback. Like, Beast's like, well, that was constructive. Like, we shouldn't do that. And everyone's kind of shocked. Like, you shouldn't be killing your own people. Havoc is losing his mind at this point. We cut over to the Summers, Cyclops and Jean Grey, talking about what they have to do, and their plan is to shut down the Brain Trust so that the prisoners can rebel.
Yes. Because reminder, Dark Beast and Apocalypse grew like 6 brains, telepathic brains, and it's basically just kind of put a dampener on the evening. You know what I'm saying? Like when someone brings like some whack ass weed brownies, and like everybody's just kind of like, you just turn into
someone
like
pulls out an acoustic guitar at the party. But 24/7.
Oh no, not that guy. I'm out. See you later.
Well, you can't leave. It's the never-ending party.
Do you know who else had a wet ass Furby? It says the man with the guitar.
Jesus. Jesus is wet ass pussy. Wet ass apostles. The wet ass Paul, Mark, Luke, and John. So they're hanging there, and the whole time Cyclops and Jean Grey talk, it's kind of annoying, this entire issue. They're just like, I just get this sense from you. There's something between us. Maybe in another world we would have been, but no. Just kind of continuously.
Have you ever,
the whole time, it's like the only thing they say.
Ever in your life, like, been in a situation where it's like, you know what? Maybe in a different world, you and I could have clicked. Like, no, either you clicked or you didn't, or like you clicked and you were married or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no different world here, y'all.
I kind of I've been where I've like seen somebody who I'm definitely not going to like see again. Like I'm like, oh, I'm visiting another state, and there's somebody in a totally different life, and like I really like click with them, but it's not like I'm going to move across country to try to go on a one date. Where I've been like, if things were different, like maybe I'd pursue this, but it's not exactly like this. Like it's pretty different.
You're just giving me an idea that we need to create a podcast matchmaker show, just like the Indian matchmaker show on Netflix.
Oh, good Lord. The the pod matchmaker, not us. They get cut off by the Bedlam brothers.
Yes.
And I want to, like, in this comic, I would read a whole spin-off of the the Age of Apocalypse Bedlam brothers.
Me too. I like these dudes.
I love these dudes. Like, this is great.
They're
like, cool powers, cool designs, good personalities.
Their costumes or their designs are like A++, except for the weird crotch straps. Like, I don't know why we have to have crotch straps, but otherwise, like, it's just like, okay, like we cut up like some denim jackets that were a size too small and put that over some leather. Like, we're good. Like, these guys look dope.
Yeah. It's fashion.
Yes,
mutant fashion. Yeah, the crotch straps, I feel like, are just their little nod to the Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like that, those are because Xavier died. Like if they were in the real 616, the straps would go away.
I feel like they would be wearing this exact same thing in the 616, right? Like they would just walk down the street with this.
They exist in the 616, and unfortunately, they do not look this cool.
Oh, lame.
But they show up and they're just like, hey, we know how you think, Scott. Like you're going to go to the brain target, or brain trust, and we're here to stop you. You should stand down. And Cyclops says, like, I'm not going to do that. Like this, this can't work. This is really intense. And the Bedlam brothers decide they make their hero turn.
Yes.
Like, you know what? Yeah, like this sucks. Like we were enjoying living up on the town and kind of the privileges of being a stormtrooper. But this isn't really fun anymore because we're just slaughtering innocent people and our boss just killed, one of our colleagues for no reason.
Right before
like,
this Cyclops looked at Jean Grey and said, do you know what would be better than one Kamala Harris? But I do. Jokes aside, I like this dude a lot. These dudes a lot, and I like that they're just like, yeah, like we don't really even like those Guthrie kids. Like we're gonna go fight those dudes.
Yeah, we're gonna hold them off. Love them. Hey, no more Knights Uptown. We're going underground. I'm like, man, show me that comic.
Yes.
They continue. We cut over to Heaven, Angel's Club, and a different artist. And this is the Dodsons, so it's real weird that the art changes. And this is the Infinites are coming to arrest Angel. Like all of his servants have been found to be spies. We're closing the establishment and we want you for questioning. And Angel was expecting this, so he pulls out a flamethrower.
Because Angel has the worst powers in any of the X-Men. Like all he does is fly around and drop stuff on people. Like that's his thing. Or run kind of a rinky-dink nightclub operation.
Yeah, in the early ones, like I think on one of the early covers, he has a bazooka.
Yeah,
and it's like he has all the power of me if I was taller with a bazooka.
Hell yeah, dude!
It's pretty cool, like pretty powerful. But like, man, you're facing up to the X-Men. Not great, buddy. So he goes down. He has this elevator shaft hidden to go down into the sewers.
His elevator, his escape plan is an elevator shaft with no elevator because he has, the power of flight, forgetting that these robots have the power of gravity on their side. Like they can just, like if you were at the bottom of a thing and trying to go to the top, I got you, fam. I see what you're doing, but no.
Everyone can fly down.
Yeah. It's not flying. It's just floating downwards.
Yeah. So Angel really only has like half a superpower as it is.
Jesus.
Because everybody can do one of them.
I am kind of disappointed that this Angel isn't all Archangeled up for this run. Like I feel like if you were ever going to have an Archangel and have this dude have like, knives for wings, this would be the time to do it. But instead he's this nightclub guy. And I just I feel like this is the last time we see him in this book. Am I right about that? Does he show up at the end?
In this book?
Yeah.
I think he shows up in the final issue in Omega.
Yeah.
It's very weird that Apocalypse, with all of his power totally taking over, he decides not to make Archangel.
Right.
Like he only did that, what a diss. To like, if I have everything I need, I definitely don't need you, buddy.
I also think it's really strange that like just a nightclub, right? Like,
yeah,
I guess
they're trying to do something with his wealth. Like they're trying to do like the Playboy. Like if he wasn't challenged by prejudice, he would just be a rich person. I think is what they're trying for. But his characterization, this is not that interesting. He's not that interesting of a character. Like I like the idea of this, this club where anything goes. That's kind of straddling the middle. But it's not like they do a lot with it.
Yeah. We jump back over to the Bedlam brothers, who were fighting with the Guthries, and they basically just are able to knock Guthrie out and then throw some steam out of a pipe onto what's her name, Guthrie?
She Guthrie.
Yeah. Colossus Guthrie, as they call her in this
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
Um,
Gigantic Guthrie.
So they are able to get out of there and stop them. So it's time for our Scott and Jean to arrive at the Brain Trust, and the Brain Trust fights back with their blurps.
Yeah. They do a lot of blurps. Blurp, blurp, blurp. That's where he does his blurp.
That's where he does his blurping. And this like prevents them from using their powers, specifically like blocks Jean. So she has to go like full crazy, like full superpower here. And I really thought we were going to get like a Phoenix thing.
A Phoenix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, instead it just, she just instead kills them all and like kind of feels bad about it. Like,
which is weird.
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what they were expecting. They were going to talk him out of it. I love this panel of them just covered in brain goop.
Yes, that's very good.
After this, like, I love how messy this was. It's like a Gallagher show. Like, they're so disgusting.
The page before that at the top is where Jean is like really like squishing her face down, and she's obviously bleeding from her nose and her eyes, and also her hairline for some reason. So just find that. Look, it's got to come out from somewhere, like right wherever you got pores. So
yeah, she had a blemish just under her hairline, like a pimple just exploded into blood. There. So they Cyclops is consoling her, like, you had no choice. And then the Bedlam brothers show up.
And he's like, y'all gotta stop. I'm like on second base right now. This is second base for me.
Yeah, touching a shoulder and saying you had no choice is second base for Cyclops.
Yeah, but no, you do not want to.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for her mom to die so I can go to the funeral.
Yeah, fourth base is moving on them. Fourth base is Emma Frost. Third base is the funeral.
Apocalypse's sex education programs were minimal at best.
It was extremely fucked up. Yeah, nobody uses a condom in the age of Apocalypse. Cyclops says, like, hey, while you guys are there, like, while you're helping, give us a blackout, you know? And one of them manipulates machines, so that's easy. We cut over to the other artist, to the Dodsons, where Havoc is talking to his side piece, who has been working for the Resistance.
Yes.
We have no idea how he got here or why he's here.
No.
Last we saw him, he was looking for Cyclops, and he just happened to find this. And this is where he's freaking out, and she reveals that she's pregnant.
Yes. And he doesn't believe her. You're lying. Yeah. It's another one of your tricks, he says. Ouch.
Yep.
Ouch.
Those classic pregnant tricks. And then the light goes out to save them from a very awkward conversation about paternity.
Thank God.
Thank God.
We go back to Cyclops, who are freeing prisoners with Jean Grey, and they are slowly like becoming awake. So there's a lot of, my mind feels clear, we're free, et cetera, et cetera. We go over to the laboratory of Dark Beast, who is like, hey, if I'm going to, liquidate all of these mutants, I need power, and all of the backup generators are gone. But his like were animals are getting a little riled up.
I love this crew because it kind of looks like a bunch of like Lycanthrope rappers, because the werewolf on the left has chains around his neck.
Yeah, dude. 100%.
So I think this looks like a badass like the Beastly Boys.
Yeah,
who are over here.
If the Gravediggers like had gone for like the the weird like persona thing a little harder, like one of these dudes could be played by the RZA, no problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And they all attack Beast to get revenge, like in an Island of Dr. Moreau thing. Mm-hmm. They end up hurting him, but they can't kill him because Beast is powerful. One of them lands in the with a big splorsh, lands in the gene pool thing. And I love how like all the super science of this will come up later too. All of Apocalypse's super science is putting people into vats of liquid that does stuff automatically.
Yeah, it's all pool based. Like we just need a
he's
pool of something.
Bath, nutrient bath based technology that we have here in the future. On this next page, as he's like saying he's going to leave for greener pastures, meaning the 616. I love this dude in the lower right.
Yeah.
Look at that guy.
He's excited and worried.
Yeah. He's like, it's really hard to see what's going on with that guy's expression.
It's just,
everybody
is freaking out, but that guy's freaking out more than everybody else.
Somehow.
As Jean and Scott are trying to basically get all of these survivors out to like telepathically show them the escape route, Havoc shows up, and you can tell he's mad because his pupils are red.
Yeah, he's super pissed. He's gone full angry. Jean Grey tries to stop him, but can't because she's too slow because it drained him.
Yeah.
We don't really know what's happening here. It looks like she throws a ladder at him and he deflects it with his hand.
Yes. Spang.
Spang.
It took me a minute to realize that he didn't just straight up hit her in the face with the ladder, which is kind of what I thought was happening.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he spanged her
Mm-hmm.
with a ladder. Cyclops and Havoc get their big fight at this point. I really like this. Havoc's letting it all out. I've lived in your shadow. I'm just picking up the crumbs. You've turned your back on Apocalypse, but I'm not going to let you ruin my life. And they can't hurt each other. Their powers are very similar to each other. In the Age of Apocalypse, they explode.
Yeah.
I think in the 616, they just don't work.
Mm-hmm.
But I love this thing where like Cyclops is on the ground. Havoc is approaching him. It's survival of the fittest. And he's like, I wish you'd never been born. And Cyclops is like, I know, I've heard you say that my whole life. Get over it. And just knocks him out in one punch.
Get over it. I'm trying to remember who sang that "Get Over It" song. Is that an Aerosmith song?
I don't know.
I'm gonna drop a little "Get Over It" into the edit if I remember to do that, and I'm not completely fucking bored out of my mind on Saturday morning when I edit this.
But this is basically it. He won't finish off Alex, and he goes to lead the weirdos, like all the animals and humans and just like crummy mutants. Lead them out as a revolt. And Havoc wakes up, Wolfsbane wakes up Havoc, weirdly enough, and they're going to fight one last time in X-Men Omega.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's the end of Factor X, which I think justifies itself pretty well as far as comics in this crossover. Like, even though it ended up not being super substantial to the main plot.
Yeah.
I like that it showed what it was like to work for Apocalypse. Like, there were people who were just like not Abyss. They weren't like mustache twirling supervillains. They were just worked in the jail pens, like low level mutants.
Yeah, like the Bedlam brothers. They probably like just showed up for a paycheck and were like, "Man, this is real fucked up, I guess." But what else are we gonna do? Like, being on the other side doesn't seem any better. So
yeah, this is the water, and we can at least have fun and like have some drinks and shit. And then realize like that's shallow. Like, it's weirdly like the Bedlam brothers story does what I think they wanted to do with Angel, but they do it better. But yeah, it's neat. Like, I think this is firmly in the top half of the Age of Apocalypse comics to me. I think this is pretty good, and the art doesn't look just like Marvel House style.
Yeah,
I don't like the art switching, but the main guy they have who does the really heavy ink shadow stuff is at least like interesting.
Yes, I thought the art was. I also kind of can't stand it when art changes in the middle of an issue. But this like both of them were pretty good, and this one was especially good. So
yeah, dig it.
Yeah.
Did you ever read The Invisibles, like Grant Morrison book?
We have had this conversation before. I have tried. I have tried to read The Invisibles several times, and gotten completely like stuck on it. And this is where you tell me that there's a really good annotated version that I should read.
Nope. That's what you think, but not the case, man. This is where I tell you that the last arc of it had a different artist for every issue, and it's a real nightmare.
Oh yeah, that's a huge bummer. Like, we went through a lot of that with the new X-Men run, and it was just it's just distracting in a way that's not super fun. So
yeah, it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
I like a consistency, even if it's not an artist I love. I'd rather just have it not change all the time.
Speaking of super fun, patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv is the place to spend your super fun bucks, which is actual currency that is accepted by patreon.com, and support the network. That is the easiest and best way to do so. You can also leave us ratings and reviews on the internet, wherever you want to do that at. Preferably places that allow you to review podcast. That would be the best place.
Yeah, where people will see it. That's kind of the point.
Yeah, and you can also tell your friends about the podcast. If you have some people that are into comics or into X-Men or into jokes, tell them about us. Maybe they'll dig it.
Yeah, we make jokes, and we'll be announcing new stuff soon. We appreciate you, and good night.
Good night.
These are the tales of the
That Get Over It track was the Eagles.
Oh.
I turn on
it's not coming to mind.
I turn on the tube, and what do I see? A whole lot of people crying, "Don't blame me." They point their crooked little fingers at everybody else, spend all of their time feeling sorry for themselves. Victim of this, victim of that. Your mama's too thin, your daddy's too fat. Get over it.
Oh, that's horrible.
That is not good.
Yeah, that sounds horrible. Sounds like a
down a little while.
Big boomer energy.
Down a little while. I like to find your inner child and kick its little ass.
Ah, jeez. Yeah.
Trying to figure out when
sucks.
that would have been like released. Yeah, 94. Wow, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's
Henley?
definitely like that's got big Dennis Leary energy.
Dude, that's Henley all the
Dude.
way too, man.
Yeah, that fucking sucks.
70-something-year-old Henley went to the fucking Congress and was like, TikTok is ruining the music industry, and I'm like, wow.
Wow.
The work on this
Yeah,
one.
we got to make our government works because we're making time for that.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, like
Thanks,
that's how you
Henley.
can tell have a good. That's how you can tell we have a good government because we'll stop and listen to Don Henley complain about how kids are sharing shit.
Any government that listens to Don Henley is doing well for themselves.
It's not my government. Yeah, not my president. You listen to Don Henley.